Welcome to Little John's Yarns. Today we're going to learn how to crochet these newborn New Balance tennis shoes. And if you like more videos like this, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you find this video moves too fast, look to the bottom right hand of your screen and find the gear button. You can adjust the speed to your liking. As you can see, we're going to learn how to make this little sneaker. And in order to do that, we're going to do the bottom sole part first. The sole is done in black. Since it's very hard to see black while filming, I'm just going to show you how to do it in the color red. So today we are going to use worsted weight yarn. I'm using Lion Brand's Pound of Love, and I'm also using a 3mm crochet hook. We'll begin by chaining 11. So form a slip knot, chain 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. We're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. So there's your first chain. We're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook. And now we're going to single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. Now place 3, now we're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3. And in your last stitch, we're going to place 7 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this will be 7. We're going to place 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches on the underneath of your chain stitch. One double crochet, 2, and 3. Place 1 half double crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, and 2. Now place 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, and 3, and place 4 single crochets into the very last stitch. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are going to slip stitch to join. You should have a total of 28 stitches. For your second row, we're going to chain 1 and single crochet into the very same space. Next, we're going to single crochet into the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Next, we're going to place two single crochets into the very same 6. Let me repeat that. We're going to place 2 single crochets into the very same stitch for a total of 6 times. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. So let's put 2 into this one. 1 single crochet back into the same stitch. That'll be your first set. Let's do your second set of 2 single crochets into the next stitch. 1, 2. That's your second group. 1, 2, third, 1, 2, fourth, 1, back into the same stitch, 2, fifth, 1, back into the same stitch, 2, that is your 6th one. Next, for the other side, we're going to single crochet into the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Alright, we're going to place 2 single crochets in each stitch in the next 4 stitches. So 2 into the next stitch. That's your first set. And 2 into the next. Second set, 2 into the next stitch. Third, and into your last one. 1, 2. And we're going to slip stitch to join into the very first single crochet. See if you can see where I'm putting my slip stitch. That's your chain 1, and your single crochet is right here. Alright, for your last row of your heel, we're going to chain 1. Once again, we're going to single crochet into the very same space. Next, we're going to single crochet into the next 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This next sequence we're going to repeat for a total of 6 times. We're going to single crochet into the one stitch, and your next stitch you're going to place 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So the first one, single crochet, 1 stitch, 2 into the next. 1, 2. That's your first set. Let's do it again. Single crochet into 1 stitch, 2 into the next. 1, 2. That's your second set. You can pause the video here and do that for a total of 6 times. I'll meet you when you complete that. Okay, we finished our sequence of 6. Next, we're going to place a single crochet into the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Continue placing single crochets into the next 9 stitches. You can pause your video here. Okay, we completed those 9 single crochets. Now we're going to repeat another sequence for a total of 4 times. We're going to single crochet into the next stitch and 2 single crochets into the next. 1, 2. That's your first set. Let's do it again. Single crochet into the next stitch, 2 into the next. 1, 2, single crochet. That's your second set. Let's do our third. Single crochet into the next stitch. 1, 2 into the next. 1 and 2. That's your third set. And your last one. Single crochet into the next stitch and 2 into the last. One and 2, and we are going to slip stitch the join into the very first single crochet. Here's your chain 1, and your very first single crochet is right here. Slip stitch the join, and you can fasten off your work. Next, we'll work on building up your crochet sneaker. Okay, I'm going to be switching over to the black sole of my crochet sneaker. We're going to find the very back of your heel and find the centermost stitch. We're going to be working in the back loops of those stitches. So find your centermost stitch, insert your hook, and attach your matching yarn for the heel. Alright, once it's attached, chain 1. This chain 1 does not count as a stitch. We're going to place a half double crochet into the very same space. Now we're going to back loop half double crochet into the next 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Okay, you can pause your video here, and for me to save time on my filming, continue placing your 7 back loop half double crochets. Pause your video here, and I'll meet you at those completions. Okay, we completed those additional 7 half double crochets. That's a total of 8 back loop half double crochets. Next, we're going to place a single crochet back loop crochet. Sorry, so many tongue twisters. So single crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into the next. Continue placing 1 back loop single crochet in each stitch around until you make it to your very last 8 stitches. So pause your video here and we'll work the last 8 stitches together. Okay, we made it back to our last 8 stitches. And we're going to place a half double crochet into the last 8 stitches. Make sure you place it in the back loop. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and on your 8th one we're going to stop halfway through, and 8. Stop halfway through so we can change colors, and you can cut your yarn here. Let's pick up your additional color. Actually, this gray is a Caron Simply Soft that I had some waste yarn laying around. Attach your yarn here. Make sure it's tight, and we're going to slip stitch the join into the very first single crochet. Chain 1. The next row is going to be a repeat of the last row, but instead of going through the back loop, you're going to go through both loops. So yarn over, go back into the same loop to put in a half double crochet, and half double crochet through both loops through the next 8 stitches. I'm sorry, through the next 7 stitches. Well, that's your first one. Like I said, it's a repeat of row, what number was it? Row 4. So repeat row 4 but through both loops. So there'll be a total of 8 half double crochets, then single crochet the next 32 and half double crochets in the last 8 stitches. I'll meet you at the completion of this row. We've made it back around and we're going to slip stitch to join into the very first half double crochet. And fasten off your work. Next, we're going to put this little line trim that goes around the bottom of the shoe. In order to do that, we're going to take, of course, your white yarn, and we're going to attach it to the very back of your shoe. Make sure you can find that correct side of your shoe. I think this one will be my bottom. So insert your hook into the back where your gray and black part meet. See if I can zoom in. There we go. Right here is good. I already put a slip knot in my yarn. And we're going to pull that little loop through. And next we're going to go into the stitch that's right next to it. Pick up the yarn behind, pull up that new loop, and pull it through. Simple as that. Go into the very next stitch, put your needle in, take the yarn from behind your work, and pull it through. I'll show you one more time. Go into the very next stitch. You can say there's a little space right here. Go behind your work, pull up a loop, and pull it through. Oh, and a quick trick, if you find that your yarn is a little bit too thick, watch, take your yarn and gently tug it. As you gently tug your yarn, you're thinning out your yarn. Tug, 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 tug. And now I've created a little thinner yarn, so it'll look nice going across the bottom of your work. So continue putting little slip stitches all the way across your work into each stitch. Once you get the hang of it, it is pretty simple and you'll start to move pretty quickly. Make sure you stay as close to the gray part as you can, so your line is nice and even. Alright, you can pause your video here, continue placing these little stitches all the way around until you make it to the other side. Alright, we made it back to the other end, and before we go into this side, we are going to cut our yarn. Stick your needle into the next stitch. Take your yarn from the back and pull it all the way through to slip stitch to join. You can weave in that later. Next, we're going to move on to attaching our red yarn while moving onto the red part of our shoe. So we're going to attach our yarn to the very back most of our shoe. So find your most center part. Let's see, where's mine? I would say right about where the chain was. Once your yarn is attached, hold on, I'm having trouble myself. Okay, once your yarn is attached, chain 1, it does not count as a stitch, and single crochet into the very same space. This row is pretty easy. We're going to single crochet into each stitch around. So single crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into the next. Continue placing one single crochet in each stitch around until you make it in the other side. So pause your video here and I'll meet you at the completion of this row. Okay, we've made it back around. We completed our row of single crochet. Next, I'm going to set up for the next row. We are going to place a stitch marker in the 15th stitch up from the very first stitch, and we are going to place a stitch marker all the way into the 15th stitch. If you count backwards from the very last stitch, place a stitch marker. Alright, let's finish off this row by placing in a slip stitch to join. We're going to chain one and single crochet into the very same space. Alright, we're going to crochet up into the stitch marker. That should be a total, including this stitch, of 14 stitches. So continue placing single crochets into each stitch. You can pause your video here and I'll meet you at the completion of your 14th stitch right before the stitch marker. Okay, we made it back to our stitch marker. You can remove that part of it. And we are going to double crochet together 2 stitches 10 times. So double crochet together the first stitch and go into your second stitch and complete your double crochet together. We're going to do that a total of 10 times. That was 1, and we're working on our second one. 2. Alright, you can pause your video here and complete your total of 10 double crochets together all the way into the marker right here. We completed our 10 double crochets together, and we're just going to place one single crochet in each stitch all the way to the end of the row. That should be a total of 14 stitches. So place a single crochet into the next stitch and a single crochet into the next. You can pause your video here and continue putting your 14 single crochet into each stitch, and I will meet you at the very end of this row. We've made it back around, and we're going to slip stitch to join into the very first single crochet. Chain 1, single crochet into the very same space. Next, we're going to single crochet into the next 13 stitches. So single crochet in your next stitch, and you can pause your video here and continue placing additional 13 single crochets into each stitch. It'll be a total of 14, including your very first one. So I'll meet you here at your completion. Okay, we completed those additional stitches. Just in case I made it confusing, it's a total of 14 single crochets. You'll be stopping right before, let me zoom in, right before you start your very first double crochet together. Okay, on top of your previous row's double crochet, we're going to place, double crochet together, we're going to place one double crochet. So double crochet next into the next stitch. Now we're going to double crochet 2 stitches together 4 times. One, 2, 3, and the last one is 4. Double crochet into the very next stitch. In the remainder of your stitches, you're going to place one single crochet into each one of your remainder stitches. It should be a total of 14 stitches. You can pause your video here. Whoops. I'll show you your very first single crochet. Oh, there's your first one. Like I said, continue putting single crochets across. You can pause your video here, and I'll meet you at your completion of all your single crochet. We've made it back around, and we're going to slip stitch to join into the very first single crochet. Let me try that again. Chain 1, single crochet into the very same space, and we're going to single crochet an additional an additional 13 single crochets. So go into your next one. That's 1, 2, 3. You can pause your video here and complete your additional 13 stitches. I'll meet you there. We completed those additional 13 single crochets for a total of 14 single crochets. We're going to double crochet in the previous rows, double crochet, now we're going to double crochet together 2 times. One, and 2. Now double crochet in your next stitch. And we're going to place 1 single crochet into the next, and single crochet in each one of the stitches all the way to the end of the row. So continue placing single crochets. You can pause your video here, and I'll meet you at the completion of this row. We've made it back around to our final row, and we're going to place a slip stitch to join into the very first single crochet. And chain 1, single crochet into the very same space, and single crochet into the very in the next 13 stitches. So continue you can pause your video here, continue placing single crochets in each stitch, and I'll meet you at your completion of 13. We completed our additional 13 stitches for a total of 14 single crochets. Now we're going to single crochet together 2 times. So we'll do that together. Go into the first stitch, go into the second stitch, complete your single crochet together. That's 1. Let's do it again. And single crochet together. That was your second one. Now we're just going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way to the very end, and I'll meet you there. Okay, we made it back around, and we're going to slip stitch to join into the very first single crochet, and we're going to fasten off our work. Next, we're going to work on the little toe area of your crochet tennis shoes. Now let's create the very front part of our sneaker. To do that, find your centermost 6 stitches in the front toe of your shoe. You'll know where they are because remember the back loops that we were working in? We're going to be working in the left out front loops of your work. I know it's pretty hard to see with my camera, but hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. Alright, attach your black yarn. Chain 1 and single crochet into the very same stitch. We're going to single crochet 6 of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Chain 1, turn your work. We're going to single crochet together. So go into the same stitch. Oops, do I got it right? Hold on, I gotta pause my video. Okay, sorry, I have trouble seeing these black stitches. Alright, we're going to single crochet together the first 2 stitches. So go back into that same stitch and the second stitch and single crochet those 2 stitches together. Alright, single crochet into the next stitch and single crochet into the next. And your last 2 stitches we are going to single crochet together. Chain 1, turn your work. And now we're just going to do 2 single crochets together to finish off this row. So back into the same stitch, go into first one, go into the second one, single crochet together. Let's do that one more time. Go into the first one, go into the second one, single crochet together. Alright, you can fasten off your work. And I usually leave a nice longer tail for sewing. Okay, at this time you can take this little end and sew it up onto your work so it looks like this, a little rounded. So I'm going to pause the video here so you can go ahead and sew this part onto your work. Next, we're going to work on a little heel tag right here. To do that, you're going to find the centermost 3 stitches of the back of your heel and insert your hook. We're going to go back to using our black yarn and we're going to attach it. And once it's attached, we're going to chain 1. And we're going to single crochet into the same stitch and the next 2 stitches. 1 and 2. We're going to chain 1, turn your work, and we're just going to repeat. Put a single crochet into the same stitch and a single crochet into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. I'm going to pause the video here. Can you repeat this for an additional 2 more rows? Alright, we completed our additional rows and I'm going to show you how to attach your tail just like this. You can just sew it on, but I always like to slip stitch, and I'll show you how I do that. I insert my hook into the very back of my work. This is about, let's see, 1 row down where I'm attaching it. So insert my hook 1 row down. I'm going to put that onto my hook and I'm going to pull it through. Simple as that. Now I'm just going to go over into the next space, insert my hook. It'll go through the front and it'll go through the back. This is so much easier when it's off camera. And you pick up the new strand and pull through. And of course, since I'm on camera, it is not working. Well, you know what? Just go ahead and sew this on. I'm having a little bit of difficulty, but continue to stitch this on and I'll meet you at the completion of those stitches. Okay, I finished sewing that on. I had a little bit of difficulty, but this is what it looks like. Make sure you weave in your ends. And next we'll go on to complete the tongue of your shoe. Next, we're going to create a foundation to build our tongue. What I did here, I just marked off 2 sides where I want to create my little foundation chain, because we're going to create a chain going from one end to the other. It doesn't have to be perfect, just about a row and a half below the opening of your shoe. Okay, we're going to take the same yarn and we are going to attach it to the corner where my marker is. Yarn's attached. Now chain 3. 1. Let me try again. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. After your third stitch, we're going to slip stitch into one of the stitches to create a more supportive base. So fold your work over and it meets right about here. So I'm going to insert my hook into your work and slip stitch. And I'm going to chain 3 more. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to slip stitch over onto this side. And slip stitch. And now we just created our little foundation row for our tongue. Alright, now we completed our little foundation chain. We're going to chain 1. Turn your work. We're going to evenly space 10 single crochets all the way across your work. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, I don't know if that was off screen. Sorry if it was. Chain 1, turn your work. We're going to place 1 single crochet in each stitch across. Okay, we completed that row of 10 single crochets across, and we are going to chain 1, and we're going to repeat this for an additional, and I'll meet you at the completion of your rows. Okay, we finished our additional 6 rows of single crochet to complete our tongue. That is a total of 8 rows single crochet. Next, all you need to do is take your white yarn to create your shoelace. I made about 125. I'm sure that's overkill, but you can always take out the extra chains if you don't need them. Next, I'll show you a quick emblem that you can put on your shoe. I'm going to do the emblem for New Balance, but if you want a Nike emblem, I'll leave a link in the description box below and a card above on how to make the Nike swoosh. You can check out that video, but I'll show you how to make the New Balance emblem. I don't have my felt piece of paper on me right now. Not felt piece of paper. I don't have felt on me right now, so I'm going to use a piece of paper. In order to make the N, let me show you what the N looks like. This is a little paper version of it. This is about a 1/2 inch big. So what I did, I measured off a little 1/2 inch section, like so. See, that's a 1/2 inch. And I'm just going to cut a tiny square. I think this will be good. These are such horribly big scissors, so these are bad for the example. Make this a little smaller. Alright, there we go. Now we have a perfect square. To make it in, we're going to cut a little triangle I'll try to draw a picture of the triangle of what you're going to be cutting. Oops, I don't know if you can see. Right here, up and down, and over. So we're going to cut that very first triangle. That's the up and down one. I think I want my end a little bit higher. There we go. And over. Oops, okay. That is the first part of your end. Now flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing to the opposite side. Create a little line where you're going to cut, and your next triangle part right there. Cut our diagonal and our up. Oops, you can't see what I'm doing. And you created a little N for your shoe. Of course, get much sharper scissors than these, because I always lose my scissors. So like I said, you can use this technique, or in the description box below I'll leave a link for the Nike swoosh, and also in the card above. And don't forget to weave in all your ends and apply your shoelace. And you are all done. I'll show you a picture what it looks like completed. If you like this tutorial, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I come out with new patterns all the time. Also, don't forget to click the link to the right of Crochet Baby Adidas and my other Crochet Kids pattern. Okay guys, I'll see you all on the next tutorial.